Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video I continue to build the Aston Martin DB5 from James Bond Goldfinger. Now I am on issue 19. Now in issue 19 we continue the build, and we have actually 4 stages with this magazine. Stage 71, 72, 73, and 74. This video will concentrate on stage 71. Now stage 71, I haven't even had a chance to look at the part yet. It's wrapped up nicely in this box here, and you know, we're getting towards the end of the build here. We're starting to put together body parts, and we're going to mount the body parts to the chassis and so forth. And I will do my best to explain what's going on here. We have some assembly steps later on in this build that they have a step back a little bit with the engine and with some other components, and it kind of makes me, scratch my head, and I'll explain later on what's going on there and what we'll do to overcome that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you guys the entire magazine with this stage. This is stage 71. I'll show you all the parts for stage 71. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started.
Bond. James Bond.
Welcome back. Let's look at issue 19 for the James Bond DB5. This Aston Martin kit is fantastic. I'm having a blast building it, and it looks fantastic when it's completed. Can't wait to complete it. And we're getting close. Believe me, we're getting close. Now, most of you know, or you may not know, I recently moved from Arizona to West Virginia because of my job. And it took me a while to get set up because I'm actually renting a room from a real good friend out here. And he bought a new house, and you can imagine it just took forever to get the internet hooked up here. It took forever to get some blinds put on the windows. And I was kind of just waiting until all that got done before I could totally set up my filming studio so I can continue on with the build for you all. And I thank you all very much for being patient with me in this process. But here I am now, and we are continuing with this build. So let's look at the magazine. And this, of course we're going to concentrate with stage 71 here. If you haven't done so already, head over to Eaglemoss.com and subscribe to this card today. They are back up and running and in full force. And now that COVID is on the backside, and everything else is opening up, we're having to take off masks in most areas. And if you don't already, it'll happen soon. Just be patient, and just having a blast building these cars. So moving on here, you can see the list of all the parts that came with this issue, and we'll look at all those parts as we go through each stage. And obviously, I think we received the rear wing section, or the rear trunk, rear quarter panels, and so forth here. And you can see you're going to be using parts from stage 69, 70, and 71 in this build. So hey, we're going to install those taillights that we put together in the last stages. And moving on, you can see we have our first article, The Making of the Quantum of Solace, Quest for Revenge. Now this movie was released on October 29th, 2008 in the UK. Running time 106 minutes. It grossed $586 million at the box office. Pretty cool. I like Daniel Craig. I think he's probably one of the better James Bonds out there. The guy, is very action oriented, and he just really makes James Bond come to life. Definitely there. And of course, Judi Dench over there on the right. She does a fantastic job in these movies. So moving on there, Gemma Arterton. I apologize if I didn't say her name right. And then our article behind the scenes, the new perspective, born in Germany, Mark Forster. So he's definitely one of the characters in that movie. And then, of course, the women of James Bond, Gemma Arterton, and beautiful young lady there, and hard driving. So definitely they put the newer version, the Aston Martin DBS, to the test here, tearing them up. Must be nice. And about 4 pages dealing with the stunts in that car and how they wrecked them up pretty good. And then high-speed camera action, so more behind-the-scene footage dealing with the high-speed cameras during the filming of the Quantum of Solace. And that is it. So let me get the parts out and let's get started. And like I was showing you earlier, here's stage 71 part. It's wrapped up in this box here. It was well protected within another box with all the other parts. And of course they had the regular cushioning stuff in there, the regular packing materials to protect everything. So it was very nice. Big improvements there with Eaglemoss when it comes to shipping parts to you. And they're being shipped from the U.S. now, which is really nice. I think they're coming in from Indiana somewhere. So we'll open this up. And always remember when you use an X-Acto blade to be careful with it. You don't cut yourself. If you're younger, make sure you have the supervision of your parents to help you out with that. There we go. Box within a box, looks like. So we'll take this stuff all out. Very nice. And here we go. Well protected. This would be the rear quarters, trunk area of the car. And it tells us stage 71 right there. Very heavy. So give me a chance to take these parts out and I'll be right back. And this is what they look like when you take them all out of the bag. You can see it's still even protected with a parts bag, and if you got to be careful because look, I just found another bag of screws here. So pay attention to the very first bag that you don't leave any screws behind inside that bag, and just check everything out visibly here. Everything looks well protected. I've had these parts for a while, but like I was saying, I moved to West Virginia and it took a little while for everything to catch up to me over here. So let me take these out and I'll be right back. And as you can see, it's even more protected with some styrofoam wrapped around it to protect the edges, protecting the paint for sure. We're definitely going to try to protect the paint with this while we're building onto this. We're going to be building onto this in the next few stages. So this sucker is pretty hefty. And to protect it off my mat here, I'm going to use a hand towel to protect the paint and any marring or any scratching. So we got that covered. In case you're just following me in my videos, remember that during the whole entire build, none of these screws come marked. They don't let you know what screws is what. But remember, you can always go to my Facebook group and you can download the screw charts. Now, interesting to note, I do have the final magazine issue, which inside of that magazine gives you all the screws. It gives you the 2-page, 3-page chart of all the screws, the description of them, and what they look like. Actually, a photograph of what they look like. So with the screw chart itself, I know that I received C screws and A screws. So the C screws I received 6 and a spare, and then the A screws I received 10 and a spare. So that's how you can tell the difference. They look almost the same, these screws do, but they're not. The C screw is 2.3 millimeter long, and the A screws are 2.6 millimeter long. So that's why they almost look exactly the same, but A is a little bit longer than C. So let's go ahead and look at the rear quarter now. And here it is. Very nice. The paint and the finish on this looks fantastic. Very impressive. The back end already has the trunk release knob on it. It's in chrome there. And of course we're going to be messing with the back end of this with our tail lights. That's what that looks like there. And the other side here. Looking down from the top. And we'll look at the underside. What that looks like there. Let's get a close-up real quick. And like I was saying, the finish on this is like second to none. Very impressive. You can see the metallic. Very nice. I'm impressed with the care that they took to ship this out so it doesn't get damaged. And just very impressed indeed. And just as a review, we're going to look over the instructions here for stage 71. And that, like I said, we're going to have to gather our parts from stage 69 and 70, which were our tail lights. And this would be 69 here. We assembled the right tail light assembly. And in stage 70, we assembled the left tail light. Now they tell you you want to make sure you put them on correctly, left and right, on the back end of the car. So we'll pay attention to that, and we're going to use some C-type screws for this. We'll go ahead and assemble the left tail light, which we built in stage 70. We want to make sure that we orient the light assembly with the amber on top of the rear section of the car here, and of course it's going to go in on the left side here. They want us to feed the wiring through the hole here. You can see that right there, and I'll go ahead and do that. And we'll make sure that it's oriented just like that. Top there. Okay. And we're going to put C-type screw in on the back side here. And you can see that right there. Okay. Get my wiring out of the way there. Before I put a screw in, I'm going to go ahead and lubricate it. Some Vaseline. As you all know, Vaseline's my favorite lubrication here. It's safe to use. And put my C-type screw into this to secure it down. And of course you can see I've got it on a drop cloth or a little hand towel so I don't scratch up the car. Going in very nicely. And of course I use the Wera screwdrivers. This would be the Wera PHO screwdriver, and you can find that on my Amazon store. I have all the tools and parts and hobby supplies in my Amazon store. I'll put a link down below on where you can go to find that. And that looks great right there. I think that looks very good. Next, I'm going to go ahead and install the right-hand taillight assembly. And remember, we put this together in stage 69. And before I get started with installing that light, I noticed that there's some rough edges here from the casting. It's very rough and probably just needs to be smoothed out a little bit so we have better operation of the tail light. So I'm going to take my Dremel tool and work on that a little bit to clean it up. I'll be using my rechargeable Dremel light, and it's model number 7760. And I'm going to use a little metal bit here to clean that off. Alright. I'm left-handed, but I'll be doing this with my right hand. Of course, you want to wear some eye protection with this. And that looks pretty good. Now we have that cleaned up, we'll go ahead and feed the tail light in through it, just like we did before. Paying attention that our amber part of the light is on top here, which it is. And make sure everything fits down snugly like it's supposed to. That looks good there. Take my Vaseline and lubricate that hole. And I will put my C-type screw into this. There it is. And that's how that looks, nice and flush, like it's supposed to be. Looks great. Same with the other side. And that's all we do for stage 71. We install these tail lights into the rear portion of the car. And it was a blast doing it. I'm enjoying this. It's really coming together. Stay tuned for stage 72 where we'll be installing more components on the back end of this car. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of people that view my videos that don't subscribe. Please subscribe. It really helps me out, helps get the word out that my channel is out there. And I do appreciate everybody that does subscribe and everybody that's been patient with me during this build process. So happy modeling, everybody, and don't forget to head over to Eaglemoss.com and subscribe to this car today. That's why I'm doing this, to let you know that these cars are out there and they're a lot of fun to build. Take care, everybody, and happy modeling.